Morning, everybody. I'll be speaking of the spectrum of intermittent exotropia. And in this, I'd like to show the first case of a girl who's 15-year-old. Her visual acuity was 6 by 6 in both the eyes. And her measurements, I'll just show the slide again, was around 55 prism diopters base in primary position for distance. Whereas for near, it was between 45 to 48 prism diopters base in. Now, the AC by A ratio was 4.5 by the gradient method, which is within normal range. Her stereopsis Randot for distance was 400 seconds of arc, slightly reduced. Her FD2 or Frisbee-Davis distance, again for distance, was reduced to 200 seconds of arc. TNO was also reduced, that is for near only, and that was 120 seconds of arc. Now, in this patient, if you notice, only two things I'd like to highlight. One is for distance, it was 55 prism diopters. For near, it was again 45 to 48 prism diopters, that is within a difference of around less than 10 prism diopters. After doing the patch test as well as the +3 diopter test, the measurements did not change. Just to highlight what is this Frisbee-Davis distance to colleagues who have not been exposed to this particular thing. This is a Frisbee-Davis distance stereo test. This is the particular stereo acuity test only for measuring stereo acuity for distance. And in this we have 4 translucent objects which are attached to a graduated glass cylinder. Now these glass cylinders can be moved back and forth. And from a distance, if the patient is standing at a distance of say around 6 meters, depending on the nomogram, we have different stereo acuity levels for 4 meter, 5 meter and 6 meter. One can exactly measure stereo acuity down to the level of 5 seconds of arc, which is the smallest possible measurement of stereo acuity. Now coming back to the same case, now with a difference of just around less than 10 prism diopters between distance and near, we come to a diagnosis of basic exodeviation. So this is a type of basic exodeviation, and in such cases, what do we plan? We plan a unilateral or a bilateral. So in such cases, the ideal is to plan a recession and resection, generally of the non-dominant eye only. Sometimes, depending on the case, if there is a dominance or there is an equal alternation between the case, you may do a LR recession of both the eyes. If the deviation is large, you may add a MR resection, but with a word of caution, because MR resection can lead to a limitation of gaze inside gazes. There may be a limitation of movement. So, what is your aim now? You aim for an ortho or an undercorrection? The answer is actually neither. You aim for a slight overcorrection. You aim for a slight overcorrection of say around 5 to 8 prism diopters in the immediate post-operative period, because there is generally a tendency for a drift in the later post-operative period. Now, second case, again, if you see, has a large exodeviation in primary position. There is no A or V pattern. If you see, not very significant. This was again a 12-year-old child, equal visual acuity in both eyes. And now the point to note is that in primary position, the child had a deviation of 75 prism diopters base in for distance. But for near, the deviation had reduced to 55 prism diopters. Now we did the patch test. Now the patch is actually done to remove the tenacious proximal fusion. And immediately following the patch test, we did the +3 diopter test to negate the accommodative convergence. And we found that the PBCT for near remained at 55 prism diopters. There was no change in PBCT between the initial readings of 55. It remained at 55 after both the tests. So we also did the AC by A ratio in this. The AC by A ratio in this particular case was around 5 by the gradient method. I'd like to remember Kushner in this, because Kushner said that you do AC by A ratio in cases of divergence excess, and you may get around, in 60% of cases, you may get a high AC by A ratio, and around 40% may have a normal AC by ratio. In this particular case, we had a normal AC by ratio of around 5. The stereopsis, as is obvious, was absent for distance, and even for near it was absent by TNO. So the diagnosis was very clear. This was a case of divergence excess exodeviation. Now what is the plan? You plan a unilateral or you plan a bilateral? Coming back to the divergence excess exodeviation, the ideal surgery should be LR recession of both the eyes. This is the ideal situation. And in case the deviation is large, you may add a MR resection. Now, what is the aim now? We aim for an ortho or an overcorrection in divergence excess. Now again, we generally aim for an ortho overcorrection is to be avoided if AC by A ratio is high. If AC by A ratio is normal, you may do a overcorrection by again 5 to 8 prism diopters. Now the third case, another spectrum is when your deviation is more for near. Like in this particular case, the deviation for near was 65 prism diopters, for distance was 50. Now the diagnosis is very clear. Even after doing a patch test and a +3, it remained the same. The AC by A ratio was slightly on the lower side, around 3. Stereosis obviously was absent. Diagnosis, very clear from all this, is convergence insufficiency exodeviation. So now what is the plan in a convergence insufficiency exodeviation?
Anybody from the audience, what would you like to do of cases of convergence insufficiency?
Now, as sir has already pointed out, the aim should be generally ortho for distance, and maybe ortho or even a slight exo is acceptable for near. Now, this is the case which has to be highlighted, and this is again a 14-year-old child, equal vision in both the eyes. And now if you see, the PBCT shows 55 prism diopters for distance. However, for near it is less. It is 45 prism diopters. Now, once we did the patch test for almost like an hour, and then immediately following that we did the +3 diopter test, we found that the PBCT for near increased from 45 to 55. So here you can see the difference here in this particular case. The AC by A ratio in this particular case was high. It was around 8 by the gradient method. Stereopsis was less for distance as well as for near. Now this is the case which we will say that this is a simulated divergence axis and not a true divergence axis. So this is pseudo divergence axis exodeviation, and in addition, if you see these photographs, the child has a A pattern. So this is a additional associated involvement. Now, so this is a pseudo divergence axis exodeviation with a A pattern. Now what will be the plan in this particular case?
What extra thing would you like to do in this? There is an A pattern, so you should look for the overaction of the superior obliques. Is there any associated superior oblique overaction in your case or not? If they are, then you would have to see whether they are significant. Then you have to weaken the superior obliques along with the lateral rectus surgery.
So ideal again is recession and resection of the non-dominant eye and a PTSO maybe for the A pattern. If superior oblique overaction is there, then we do a PTSO. Now the aim in such cases is again ortho or a slight overcorrection of 4 to 8 prism diopters. I'd like to acknowledge my Professor Pradeep Sharma, sir, and the orthoptics department of AIIMS